Video game movies don't get that good of a rep. They're usually seen as poor or subpar, and that's because with video games you need more than just 2 hours to tell a good story. But with TV, you get longer. Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Carmen Rowe and I've played 7 out of 10 of these games, so I'm pretty well informed. When your favorite game is over, we always feel sad. We've spent so many hours maxing out our character and finishing every quest, and now all we can do is start everything over again. But what if we had somewhere to turn after? What if television studios could see the potential in these games and turn it into something for everyone to enjoy? The only question is, which games should they pick? That's what we're exploring with today's list of the top 10 video games that need to be TV shows. If you're new here, hit like and subscribe because I thought about this way too much. And share this with HBO and maybe they can do something about it. Okay, roll the intro. Number 10, Dungeons & Dragons. There are online versions of Dungeons & Dragons, so I'm going to count this one, alright? Chill. Don't worry, the next ones will be pure video games for all you purebloods out there. However, a Dungeons & Dragons TV show would be so interesting. Like, instead of scripting one, you can have a group of people play it. Like how the Yogscast did with Yogg's Quest way back in the day, before Lewis had a decent haircut. And then have that campaign recorded. You can then use that story and events to create a series of scripts for a show that could span any number of seasons. The writers could write out a main conflict, but then the dungeon masters and the players take it from there. I think it would be incredible, and honestly, I'm kinda thinking about doing it myself now. I just need to get some friends over to play D&D. Plus, I should probably finish that campaign I was writing way back when. Oh boy, this is going to be so much work and detail that will go into it. So that may be a few years away from me, since, you know, I'm one person and on a studio with the budget of a tiny Elon Musk. And at 9, Dishonored. If I'm being honest, the story of Dishonored is one of the best stories from video games. If you haven't played Dishonored, basically you get framed for the murder of an empress who you probably love, to be honest, and get sent to jail. You then have to clear your name with the help of the mystical powers given to you by the Outsider. These abilities give you powers like Blink, which lets you teleport, Detective Mode, which allows you to see enemy patrols, and don't forget summoning a swarm of probably plague-infested rats. These are only a few possibilities. The story of just the first game could span multiple seasons, getting at least 2 done easy and maybe even 3. And there is also the game's sequel, Dishonored 2, which could easily get itself a couple of seasons. If a station like HBO was to pick up the rights to a Dishonored TV show, first it would be familiar because they dishonored Game of Thrones in Season 8. But they could also get at least 4, if not 6 seasons out of 2 games, and I'd watch each one of them. And at 8, Assassin's Creed. While yes, Assassin's Creed got a subpar movie back in 2016, I don't think they should disqualify it from getting an actually decent TV series. The Assassin's Creed story and lore is so rich and interesting, like the Animus, which is the machine used to simulate these events in 3-dimensional space by reading the memories of those who are descendants of the Assassin's Order. I think that this kind of story, with a plot within the Animus and a plot outside in the real world, would probably do incredibly well for a television show. Shows always have A plots and B plots, and depending on the length, a couple more thrown in there for good measure, so having 2 very clear plot lines already established would be great for the writers. Plus it worked really well in Ready Player One, having the in-game story as well as the real-life story. I mean, they were basically one story, but like, you know what I mean. It could be that sort of thing, but inside the Animus and fighting against Abstergo Industries. Plus, they can take it one step further and confirm MatPat's theory that Assassin's Creed and Watch_Dogs takes place in the same universe. Just throw Aiden Pierce in there at some point as a name drop and you're good. And at 7, Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, while most people at this point use Grand Theft Auto 5 for the online feature, that world is way too chaotic to make a good TV show. Sure, some online things could be wrapped into a story somehow, but I think that the story mode should be the main focus of a GTA 5 show. Imagine the origin story at the beginning of the pilot. Or hell, use them as flashbacks and start with Michael attending his own funeral. Then you could have the whole story play out, and honestly, I really want to see Michael pulling down that house in television, okay? Plus, they could work the heists in, and it could be like the Arrowverse crossovers, you know? Where it spans over multiple episodes and only occurs once every year. That would be incredible, and everyone would be looking forward to the heist episodes. Plus, you can work some of the online things in there, like one season they can have a gang war between the Green and Purple gang. Or the Green Gang. It's a meme thing. And at 6, Mass Effect. The Mass Effect games are such epic sci-fi games, jam-packed with interesting characters and captivating storylines. Things like these make the possibilities for an adaptation endless. There are plenty of stories and DLC that the show could use, and there are so many directions a Mass Effect TV show could go, it would be incredible. They don't even need to stick to the story of the game. They could tell a completely original story in their world, and it would be amazing nonetheless. The world lore is so rich and incredibly detailed. Fans of this series would rejoice at their favorite series getting something new, and honestly, if any series deserves to be adapted into a live-action medium, it would be Mass Effect. Just don't hit the cows, you monster. Halfway through number 5, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption would be an incredible addition to any TV station's repertoire. There's a surprising lack of Western shows when titles like Deadwood, Westworld, and Godless have been doing decent and even better in some cases. But even with that, the genre is being largely ignored. It's honestly a surprise that even with the fact that there is no competition, there are no current Western TV shows right now. Well, not right now, but like the current time period. We all know why there aren't any TV shows right now. The story of Red Dead spreads decades with its terribly long timeline, and a series could get plenty of seasons out of the first game, let alone its sequel. Especially when there's a void in the market, why hasn't anyone done this yet? I just want to see Skimpy Jiggles Jr. And at 4, BIOSHOCK. The BIOSHOCK series doesn't have a bad apple in the harvest. All 3 entries of 2K Games' first-person shooter series have been incredible and held at high standards. Easily, they are some of the best games that the last generation of consoles has to offer. However, BIOSHOCK Infinite launched way back in 2013, and there haven't really been any talks, let alone confirmation of a sequel for this gen or the next gen of consoles. And from what I've seen, since nobody has talked about it in so long, everyone seems to have forgotten about BIOSHOCK. Not only could a television series reinvigorate the franchise, but it could also show the infamous Big Daddy. I can imagine him in all of his CGI glory, just with some hilariously juxtaposition behind the scenes shots of some skinny dude with a green screen suit on, and a marker over his head showing where the actors need to look. That would be incredible. Do it! Getting close to the end in number 3, Animal Crossing. This may be a surprise, but there are so many drama shows about neighborhoods and conflicts between neighbors. Imagine an Animal Crossing show, but with extreme drama. It could be like any of the housewife shows, like the Desperate Housewives, people constantly burning each other's houses down and whacking them with nets and stuff, and shovels, and just burying them alive. I know you can't burn anything down and you can't really do anything to harm other people aside from maybe isolating them on their own little island. One by one plot, but I mean, it would be entertaining. At least I think it would be. And I don't actually watch any of those shows. The only TV I watched was Arrowverse and Supernatural, but technically that's Arrowverse. Long story. Anyway, an Animal Crossing show would be like a mix of Desperate Housewives and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all with like realistic animal characters, and it would be terrifying but also hilarious. Like a reality show but with drama, because that's just what happens. I don't know, I just think that would be hilarious. Please do it. I want to see Tom Nook be hung. And 2, The Forest. I love this game. My friend Cameron introduced it to me, and honestly at first I was skeptical, but after watching YouTubers play it I fell in love. The game has an interesting story. Spoiler alert, by the way. You are a television actor who lost his wife, but while on a plane ride with your son you crash into an island where a man covered in red takes your son. You then need to fight your way through mutated cannibals and creatures to find your son and save his life. There are 2 endings to this game, and I wonder what ending they could go with. They could both set up a new series or seasons of a show, and honestly I think that the series finale would be him finding Timmy. There could be an epic climactic climb into the pit, and such an intense but beautiful end battle. And then we get to the endings. Would he save Timmy's life but give him a disease he'll be trying to cure for the rest of his life, thus setting up Sons of the Forest? Or would he leave himself stranded on the island, making a way for new conflicts, and potentially a story of him trying to rid the island of cannibals with the orb? Okay, I really want this to happen. It was at number 5 before, but as I'm writing this I need to make it number 2, okay? Yeah, I have a bias. Let's move on. Finally, in number 1, Skyrim. Oh, you knew this was coming. I've been wanting a Skyrim television series for years. Ever since I started playing the game in 2012, I thought this would be an incredible TV show. The action, the story, the DLCs, the quest lines, and with an open world game there is so much possibility. Sure, Game of Thrones was on at the time, but hey, Skyrim was originally intended to be a Game of Thrones game. That's why Whiterun looks like a smaller King's Landing. If HBO or someone could make a Game of Thrones-like series with Skyrim, I don't think that I would be able to contain myself. Game of Thrones had an incredible run. All 7 seasons were incredible, so do the same thing with Skyrim. Have the ever-looming threat of Aldoom while there is some other issue to contend with, like Dawnguard or Dragonborn, or the Civil War, or the Companions questline. I've been wanting this ever since the Skyrim live-action trailer when they announced Skyrim Special Edition. I thought we were getting a series, and I've been wanting one ever since, okay? Let me know if you agree down below. Also, we need to yell at Todd Howard to make it happen. If you want to keep selling a Skyrim, you gotta make a show first, buddy. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm saying. There we have it, friends, the top 10 video games that need to be TV shows. Which games do you think need TV adaptations, and which games on this list are your favorite? Be sure you let me know down below, and on your way down, be sure you hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content, and ring that bell to join the clan and level up. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. I wonder what auto caption's calling me.